Hi everyone, it's Cindy, and I have a haul for you that I want to share with you today. First of all, my camera has shut off twice when I tried to do this, so we'll see how far I get this time. But first of all, I bought these 5 books on eBay. They are a collection of German religious books, is how they were billed. This first one, I think, is a New Testament Psalms, and there definitely has, like, the Apostles' Creed, all the creeds in the back, the confessions. It's really yummy leather, and has this nifty little flap that gets tucked in there, but it's not in good shape at all. The, the spine is very, very wobbly. I think it was well loved. It has a woman's name on it, Lydia Stutz, 1911, and one of the other books has her name in it, and I think, yeah. So she lived in St. Louis, Missouri. Here's a very inexpensive, cheap American Bible Society copy of a German New Testament. It's got that real nasty stiff cover on it, but it looks like the New Testament was never used at all, really. Maybe she had it for sharing, I don't know. And then this one, I think, is a catechism book. There's another one below it that is obviously that, and I'll show you why in a minute, but it looks to me like it is because it's got like a question and answer format, so I think that's what it is. I love the different colors of old you get with these books. This one is really pretty sad shape, however. I think it might get used as I think I might remake it into another book, and I'll show you why right now. Look at those end papers. Aren't they beautiful? I love them. And these are little leaflets for confirmation class. And if you look at this, you can definitely see the question and answer format, even though my German is terribly, terribly poor after 40 years since I've been in, almost 50 years, for heaven's sake. Anyway, so I don't feel bad about gutting this one and remaking it into another book. The spine is obviously worthless, but I think it could be quite attractive with whatever, decorated up and put book corners on. This one says agenda. It's Agende, and it's in really bad shape. But it's interesting that the first part is in German, and then the second half is in English. So it's obviously got no, there's no crime in me tearing this one up. So I don't know what that is, but anyway. So I need to look that up and figure out what that means. I mean, I know what agenda is in English, but it keeps making a mess on my table. And then the next thing I purchased was this, which is a book weight. And I've wanted one for a while because of this. You can see, by the way, that this got smushed down quite nicely. But you can put this at the top of your page, and it will hold your book open, so you can write or decorate or whatever it is you're going to do with your book. And so that's exactly what it's for. So I've wanted one for a while. Tried to make one. I thought I had it in my head I could make one. I have some leather swatches that I got from a company online as samples, and it was not pretty. It was just not going to work. The last thing I got is this Singer sewing book by Mary Brooks Picken, and Mary Brooks Picken was the aunt of a very dear friend of mine who passed away several years ago, but her Aunt Mary was a really fascinating lady. She wrote literally hundreds of books. She's got her own write-up in Wikipedia, for heaven's sake. And if you go online now to Amazon and look up Mary Brooks Picken, you'll find that she's still in print. This is a 1949 edition of the Singer Sewing book, and it's in really good condition. I bought it with the intention of making an altered book out of it. I didn't realize how big it would be. This would suck up a lot of paper, and I'm really not sure I want to do that. But I'm not sure what I want to do with it. It's beautifully done. There are color pages, and there are wonderful illustrations. She writes very clearly. It's no wonder she wrote so many and got published so often. I think the pattern companies would do well to match her style. You can very easily follow what she's doing. And this book is loaded with everything from how to make, take care for your sewing machine up to making a layette for your baby or your grandchild or whatever, and how to upholster a chair, and how to make every kind of pleat imaginable, and alter a pattern, and make a pattern for that matter. Fascinating lady. She lived in the same apartment building as Thomas Dewey, who was governor of New York and ran for president. In fact, he's the one that had, he ran against FDR, and when the papers were, the New York Times, I think it was so convinced that he was going to win that they actually, he was ahead as everybody went to bed, so they printed the paper that said Thomas Dewey wins presidential election or whatever, and when they got up the next morning, he didn't win. But anyway, my friend Joanne used to go, she lived in the Scranton area, but she used to get the train when she was a young teenager and go into New York and stay with Aunt Mary, and she called Thomas Dewey Uncle Tommy. They were very close friends, and he would come back to Scranton with them and for Thanksgiving and things like that. And Joanne got to meet a lot of really fascinating people because of her aunt. And I talked to Joanne's daughter yesterday to tell her that I got this book and I was going to do something with it. And she said she's been slowly collecting all of Aunt Mary's books. She said she has almost all of them. And they're working on some ways to honor her memory. Her books, like I said, are still in print. Someone contacted my friend shortly before she died and said that they wanted to they were writing about Mary. She was doing her dissertation, her doctoral dissertation on Mary Brooks Ficken, of all things, and wanted permission to excerpt some of Mary's books. So Joanne met with her and gave her permission, and that was that. And then there's another person actually still writing about her again. Really fascinating stuff. And right before Joanne died as well, a publishing company contacted her for permission to re-release some of the books. So, like I said, they're still in print. And when you think, she died in the early 70s, I believe, or late 70s, I'm not sure, I forget. I looked it up the other day, but can't tell you for sure right now. But anyway, pretty fascinating. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to lay it aside for now. I was pretty sure I was going to make an altered book out of it, but I just think it would suck up a lot of paper, and I'm not sure, because it's so big, I'm not sure it would lend itself to that kind of thing. But I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to think about it. Just put it in the back burner and decide later what I'm going to do with it. But for now, I have it. It's one of our favorite family stories, by the way. My son was about 8 or 9 years old, and he was rooting around in the drawer of the china cabinet, which is a junk drawer, still is, and he came across an old watch that actually had been for my husband, but he never wore it, and I ended up wearing it. It was back when we were all wearing those giant watches that looked like men's watches anyway. So, but it was broken, and I had just tossed it in the drawer for who knows why. It's a Timex. It wasn't worth fixing. But anyway, Jay found it, and he said, "Mommy, is this your watch?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "What you going to do with it?" And I said, "I don't know. Probably should throw it away." He said, "Can I have it?" And I said, "Sure. What are you going to do with it?" And he said, "I'm going to have it." So that's how I feel about this book. I'm just going to have it for a while. and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with it. So that's my little haul. Please like, comment, subscribe. The camera stayed on, by the way, so I can actually upload this one. Like, comment, subscribe, come back, and thanks for watching.